English language learners. I'm excited today to bring to you the topic of reading. Reading is something that a lot of English language learners really struggle with. They find it very tiring. They find it very difficult. And so today, I want to go over why it's important to read, but more importantly, I want to help you learn how to read correctly in the most beneficial, the most helpful way for you as an English language learner. Let's begin by looking at the reasons why reading is so important. When you read English, you learn more than just new words. You learn the structures of English. The grammar is laid out before you, and as you read it, your mind automatically begins to absorb and get used to the structures that are there. It becomes automatic in you. The more that you read, the more you will find yourself automatically being able to produce language, to have the grammar there when you need it. It is important to study grammar, but I believe that reading gives you an incredible benefit by constantly feeding your mind these grammar structures. Of course, reading will help you develop new words. In other words, as you read, those words will become part of your dictionary, part of your mind's vocabulary. It's interesting, too, that authors very often have the habit of using the same words over and over through their book. So as you meet new words, as you read a book, you will see that same word 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 times in the same book. And that word will become automatic. You won't even have to memorize it. It will just automatically be memorized for you as you read through the book. Finally, reading gives you a taste of culture. If you read books about American life, British life, Canadian life, Australian life, whatever culture that you want to connect with, reading gives you that connection so that you understand not only more about language, but about the way of thinking of the English-speaking people that you want to communicate with. Now, let's look at how we should choose the books we read. I recommend the books you choose be in modern English. If your goal is to become conversational in English and have relationships with other English speakers. You know, a lot of my students want to read things like Shakespeare or Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and that's very nice. The problem is that those books contain language from a long time ago that we don't use now. At least we don't use it in the same way. They will be very, very difficult to read, and you will not get as much benefit or help from reading those books as you think you would. It is much better, if you want to read those kinds of classics, to find updated language versions or easy-to-read versions if you can't read the originals and understand most of them. Now, the book that you choose should also be at your reading level or just a little bit higher. This is very important. Sometimes English learners get too ambitious and they want to read a very, very difficult book. If you open a book and you don't understand most of the words, most of the sentences, it's going to be too difficult. You're going to give up. It is better for you to choose a book that is a bit easier and has just some words that you don't know. I always say you should understand about 80% of the words in a book that you read. Now, that means you still will have trouble understanding a bit of the book, but at least you will be able to get the general picture and the general idea as you read. So don't choose things that are too hard. The book should also be something that you really enjoy. And this is important. If you like reading mystery novels or romance or science fiction, then do that. Do that in English. Find books at your level that you're going to enjoy. Because motivation is a key. And if you're reading something that you really just don't like, then it's going to be difficult to stay motivated and to continue the book all the way to the end. Do you need easy books? It really is okay to read children's books and youth books. Look, it's actually very beneficial and helpful for you. Why? Think about this. If you read books that American children read as they grow up, that means that you will have an even better understanding of the mindset and the culture. And you're reading the books that your adult friends read when they were little, so you will have some connections with them as well. Now, if you don't like reading children's books or youth books, I can understand that. But I encourage you, don't be ashamed or embarrassed to read some fun stories that are written for young people in English. I think you could find that very enjoyable and very helpful. It's okay, as I said, to read easy version books. There are several publishing companies, several book companies that make easy-to-read versions of classic stories or of popular stories. If that is where you need to start, that is completely fine. Just find something at your level to read. Now, we are going to talk about how to read. And I'm going to introduce you to the idea of reading for fluency. Here's what it means. It means we don't look up every word in the dictionary. This is the mistake that a lot of English language learners make. They read until they find a word they don't know. They look it up in the dictionary. They keep reading until they find another word they don't know. They look that up in the dictionary, and it takes so long to get through a page. You kind of forget where you are in the reading process. It's not a good way to read. The best way for you to read is when you find a word you don't know, guess at the meaning. This is how you learned the words in your own language as you grew up and you read. Or maybe you heard somebody say a word that you didn't understand, but you listened for the context, for the idea, and you guessed at the meaning. That process is so important for you, and you must give that process to yourself as you're reading in English. Even if you feel lost, keep reading. Don't look up every word. Keep reading until you get to the end of the chapter. Sometimes you can go for maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 pages, and you're really kind of lost and you feel like you've lost track, but then you kind of get on track. And what happens is, if you will just read to the end of the chapter, if you stop at that point and think back and say, okay, what did I read in this chapter? And tell yourself the things that you understand about the story, you will be surprised how much you understand. Just going through this process of reading for fluency, guessing at the meaning, and just reading more and looking up words less will help you understand large sections of text better and will be a lot more enjoyable, actually. You do this chapter after chapter after chapter, and the next thing you know, you're done with that book. Finally, let me just say, you need to read daily. Every day, make it a habit. Find something you enjoy reading, something at your level. Read. Don't spend too much time looking up words in the dictionary. Read for fluency. Read a lot. And the grammar and the words of English will start to become automatically in your head, usable to you as you speak English. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate your support. If you like this video, please subscribe and like my channel. If you'd like to join our Facebook group, look me up on Facebook at English Teacher Tim. Join our conversation group. We have special content just for that group to give you extra help in learning English. You can also read my blog and contact me at EnglishTeacherTim.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.